My God, it's full of stars.
All right, my little droogies. I have been working on 12 Monkeys on and off for a while now, and I'm finding it much more difficult to do these videos when I don't have large blocks of time to dedicate to it, because you kind of have to watch the movie several times and then analyze each individual detail in it and do some research on each individual detail. And it's just a lot harder to do when you're, when I'm putting so many hours in and other stuff. And also, I was talking to Tony today. I'm got a full garden going right now, so I'm out there tinkering with the garden all the time. But I do love doing these videos, and this particular one is going to be fascinating. If you've been watching the time travel series since the first one, this is going to dovetail right into the other videos. And I think Freud called it the uncanny, and how well it fits with the other videos in the series. And this video is almost 50 minutes, or it's 50 minutes long, and we're only going to scratch the surface of 12 Monkeys in this video. But we are going to set the foundation for how it ties into the other videos and how it's intrinsically linked with all the other time travel movies you've seen already. And that's what I wanted to do tonight. And that's it. Enjoy. All right, let's do this. So here we have 12 Monkeys, the beginning shot. And it's replete with the globe imagery, this is the ball, Earth, Universal. MGM uses this, Columbia uses it. They all use the globe thing. It's ridiculous. So it's Universal Pictures. And we're going to go on a tangent right even before the movie starts. We're going to go to the next screen, and it says an Atlas Classico present. So Atlas is a god and a missile. So it's an Atlas Entertainment production. This is in a theme of Kubrick using the same thing as production companies or clues. So in order to understand why Atlas Productions is such a big deal, we have to understand that there's been a repeating theme of Greek and Roman titans and odysseys and tragedies and Odysseus and the Cyclops and yada yada yada. So we have the Atlas missile, we have the Titan missile, we have the Molly Brown capsule. So this would be a clue to Titanic, Titan, Titanic. We have the Atlas missile, 12 Monkeys, Atlas Productions. We have the Robinson projection, the World Atlas, the Gleason projection, the World Atlas, the Azimuthal Equidistant Atlas. We have the Trident missile. This would be Neptune's attribute, would be his trident. So we see Hervé Villachez with the trident. We see Woody Strode with the trident. So Neptune is Poseidon. It's the same thing. And we see the Neptune under the sea dance in Back to the Future, and we see Neptune with his trident. We see the Neptune's trident attribute. He's the god of the sea, father of all horses, father of Pegasus, which is one of the names that we were looking for in the time travel program. Pluto, god of the underworld, walks with a limp. He makes all the gods' weapons. We see plutonium in Back to the Future, the CRM-114 on the amplifier. We see the flat Earth clock in Back to the Future. We have the Doomsday Device in Doctor Strangelove's another atomic clue. Blast from the Past bookstore in Back to the Future. The Atomic Kid movie playing in Back to the Future. I Am Become Death in Full Metal Jacket. I Am Become Death is what Bobby Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb, uttered after it was exploded. We have Jupiter, Zeus, and his eagle. So its eagle is a golf term for 2 under par. The eagle has landed, and Jupiter defeats Saturn with his eagle and his mighty lightning bolts. So lightning bolts become white lightning, moonshots, moonshine, Michael Collins, Jack Daniels, and we have Saturn, Kronos, god of time. He's a cannibal. He eats all his children at birth. His attribute is the sickle cell. Longine's chronoscope with Admiral Byrd. It's Longine's chronoscope is Kronos, god of time. Time, the word time is repeated 237 times total in all Kubrick movies. We were given Rainbow, Pegasus, Phoenix, and Montauk. Those are 4 different names of a time travel program that the U.S. military was involved in. We have Rhea, wife of Saturn. She hides a little baby Jupiter in swaddling cloth, and he later frees all of his Titan brothers and sisters. We have Barry Nelson is dressed, and he looks like JFK in The Shining. And he says, did the boys in Denver tell you all about the tragedy we had up here in 1970? And Jax is like, no, I don't know anything about it. So he tells them they got cabin fever. So in 2001, A Space Odyssey, we're talking about Greek and Roman tragedies. You know, it's an odyssey, it's a tragedy. So we have Homer and Odysseus and the Cyclops, and Odysseus and the Cyclops is mirrored with Dave Bowman and Hal. Hal has one eye, Cyclops has one eye. And of course, in The Shining, we see Theseus and the Minotaur in the labyrinth. And we have the hedge maze and we have Danny and Jack is the Minotaur. Danny is Theseus, Jack is the Minotaur. We have the Trojan horse. So we're given all these horses: Red Room, Blackjack, Trigger, Silver, Red Lightning, Stopwatch, Morgan, Mustang, Bronco, Clydesdale, Palomino, Race, Quarter. Moonwatcher is beating a dead horse skeleton with a bone weapon. The zebra we see in 2001 is actually a painted pony. It's not really a zebra. So ride the painted pony. And then we have the reoccurring thing of filly, colt, stallion, mare. You know, we have Sylvester Stallone, the Italian stallion. We have yeoman colt in The Cage. We have filly is where Rocky is filmed, and it's the Philadelphia Experiment, of course. Roman Polanski, you know, so we have Roman and Greek clues, and the 2 girls were killed with the Colin axe. So Sharon and her unborn baby were murdered in Laurel Canyon. So Laurel Canyon is home to the log cabin, the infamous log cabin where all the rock stars were born. And there was a real overlook hotel in Laurel Canyon that burns down in the 70s. And there's just so many clues to the Laurel Canyon lore. And we find out that there's a secret underground CIA movie studio in Laurel Canyon, and it's responsible for developing all of the atomic blast footage. So people have said the atomic blast footage is fake, and I find it interesting that it was all developed in the same underground secret CIA movie studio. So then you have the Apollo program, another Roman and Greek god. Saturn's moons are all named after the Titans. In Arthur C. Clarke's book, he uses the planet Saturn. In Kubrick's movie, he uses Jupiter. And when asked why, he says he can't fake the rings. So we have all these clues to rings and bells. And we have the moon, which is Selene, Luna, Loon, Lunatic, Looney Tunes, Cuckoo. Loon calls are heard at chapters 11 and 12 in The Shining. And then we have the movie 12 Monkeys. She mentions the Cassandra complex, where she knows the future, but she's impotent to change it. So these are all Roman and Greek tragedies and stories. And you need to understand that they've been woven in before, you know. So when you see the Atlas Entertainment Group thing, it doesn't really mean much to you until you understand how far this goes. So now let's take all the different clues that we were given for all the Titans and connect it with a single commonality, and it would be missiles.
Operator, can you give me the time?
So this scene is cut from the movie. So anything that's missing in this puzzle is always a clue. So this is the scene that's missing from the final movie. So so we have the Titan II missile. It's ICBM. We're talking about the Battle of the Titans. So you have Jupiter is one of the Titans. You have the Titan missile series itself, which has continued on. We have the underground Titan missile launch base. Here's another shot of the Titan missile. So all the Titans are in our puzzle. We have Mercury and Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter and Saturn are the two protagonists that start the Battle of the Titans, the 12 Titans. So you have the 12 Titans, the 12 Zodiac, the 12 Jungian archetypes. It's always 12, 12, 12. And of course you have Bruce Willis as a Playgirl Bunny. You have, which is, this is not in the missile category. This is the Playgirl Bunny category. So Brad Pitt's in the Playgirl Bunny category. So they're both in 12 Monkeys. And so Atlas is an ICBM missile. And this theme has been going on for dozens of movies. And so we see Atlas the god. He carries the stars on his shoulders. We have the Atlas rocket family. We have the Atlas, the Robinson projection Atlas. We have Jackie Robinson. We have the World Atlas. We have Atlas the god. And if you look at these carvings carefully, he's carrying the stars on his back, not the Earth. You can see the stars up here. And so we have a recurring theme of the atomic kid and the blast from the past. Here we have the Sidewinder missile. We have the Sidewinder snake leaves tracks. We have the Sidewinder
Sidewinder. Good name too. Sidewinder Diamondback. Looks like a couple of snakes down there in the lake bed.
road to the overlook in the Jungian shadow of the Belgian Jet Ranger chopper. Snakes and ladders. You also have Sidewinder Crater.
Sidewinder.
Neil Armstrong talks about
Sidewinder Diamondback.
Diamondback and Sidewinder Crater on the moon. So what they're talking about with the Sidewinder is the paths of the orbits of the Apollo
Sidewinder Diamondback.
craft are look like snakes because they're not really going in orbit. It's all a joke. So I've listed all the snake names on here. The Sidewinder, the Bushmaster, the Boa, the Diamondback, the Black Snake, the Rattlesnake. We have Nazareth's album, Snakes and Ladders. This is the game Danny plays. So this album has the Sidewinder on the cover. We have the Sidewinder Missile, Sidewinder Road. We have the Apollo Simulation Project, the horrible ass. So let's go through the missiles before we get sidetracked. We have the Atlas. We have the Sidewinder.
You calling me, Jack?
Come over here and help me with this belt.
And we're about to get the Harpoon.
I haven't had
I'm sorry, we're about to
very
get the
much
Minuteman.
experience, with those sort of machines, Jack. I've only ever
And we're going to get a
pressed
clue to
button
Theseus and the
while
magic
I was
thread.
In the name of Her Majesty and the Continental Congress, come here and feed me this belt, boy.
Jack, I'd love to come. But,
So the Majesty and the
what's
Continental
happened? See,
Congress, he's
string
referring
on
to,
my leg's gone.
the Revolutionary War.
And the string. I never told you, but you see, got a gammy leg.
String. My leg.
Gone shot off.
Mandrake, come over here. The redcoats are coming. Come on.
So the Redcoats are coming. The Redcoats would be the English. They wore the red coats. And of course, the bipolar opposite of the Redcoats would be the Minutemen. So the Redcoats are coming. The Minutemen are the polar opposite of the Redcoats. There's the Minutemen. There's the Redcoats. And there's the Minuteman missile, ICBM missile. And the Minuteman Revolutionary. He had the Kentucky rifle. So these are all the Patriots that are in the puzzle. Betsy Ross and the Overlook Party is on July 4th. So there's the Minuteman missile. Here's the Phoenix missile. Now, the Phoenix lander is the thing that landed on Mars. It was transmitting 24 hours a day for the first month until NASA realized that was impossible. Then we have the Firebird Phoenix hood sticker. We have the Phoenix Biltmore. This is where the Red Bathroom is based on. It's a Frank Lloyd Wright textile block building. You have the Phoenix missile again. We have a family of missiles here with the Phoenix, the Sparrow, the side. This is Sparrow. It would be Roberta Sparrow from Donnie Darko. Here we have Playgirl Bunny. Burt Reynolds drives the Firebird Phoenix by Johnny DeLorean. And we have the Maverick missile. So we have Tomcat Cruise. He's a cat. He's a form of transportation. Cruising is a way of transportation. With the Maverick missile, it's one-eyed. It has a laser lens on the front of it, fisheye lens. The Maverick missile. The Maverick missile. The one-eyed Maverick missile. Here we have the Mercury Redstone, the Thor, and the Jupiter engines. Notice all those are in the puzzle. Here's the Thor missile being tested by Douglas, which later becomes McDonnell Douglas. They fired the Thor missile at the dome. Here's a picture of it hitting the dome.
I found him outside looking for you.
Listen to this passage carefully.
Dan, did you get tired of bombing the universe?
Yeah.
Talking about missiles.
Dan, you get
Bombing the
tired
universe.
of bombing the universe?
So Kennedy was bombing the universe with the Thor missile he was firing at the dome. And how do we know we're talking about Operation Fishbowl? Because we see a fishbowl with a white head in it. And then the camera changes, and now it's got a red bird in it. And also the tone of the tiger game right behind him, the lettering changes from the left-hand side of the poster to the right-hand side. So it's two different tiger posters and two different contents of the fishbowl. So we're being pointed to the fishbowl. And Danny, are you done blowing up the universe? So Kennedy was firing the Thor missile at the universe, and we fired lots of these. And of course, Thor is the god, and he has his hammer. You know, so during Apollo 15, they do the hammer drop. Here's the whole Atlas, Thor, Jupiter, Minuteman. Hades is Pluto. Here's Mercury, the god who always favors man. He has the helmet of invisibility. This is mirrored in Back to the Future 2 when Marty goes invisible. So he's a messenger of the gods, the divine herald. So here's the Mercury crew on the Pink Floyd album. You know, of course, their faces are blocked out. Here's a Ford Mercury Lincoln one-off with a bubble top. Here's the Neptune under the sea dance, and we've seen Neptune's trident. A trident is also a type of missile, the Trident missile system. And I don't think I have a picture of that in here. But it's another missile. So Neptune's trident is seen Back to the Future. There's the double eagle chair. So here we find out what happens when you go against Saturn's wishes. And so Mandy sacrifices herself.
I am ready to redeem him.
So she's ready to redeem him, and we see Thoth. So who comes for you if you don't follow the rules? Thoth comes for you. So here's Thoth. Thoth becomes Saturn. Saturn becomes the Grim Reaper. So it's all the same clue over and over. And she's a redhead, of course.
There will be the most dire consequences for you and your family. Do you understand? Or if you say a single word to anyone about what you have seen, there will be the most dire consequences for you and your family. Do you understand?
You are concerned about him.
Yes.
And are you
Shining.
concerned about me?
Of course I am.
Of course you are. Have you ever thought about my responsibilities?
Oh, Dick, what are you talking about?
Have you ever had a single moment's thought about my responsibilities? Have you ever thought for a single solitary moment about my responsibilities to my employers? Has it ever occurred to you that I have agreed to look after the Overlook Hotel until May
Stanley
the 1st?
agreed to take care of the Overlook
Does it
for
matter
his
to you
employers,
at all
and
that the owners have
during
placed
the
their
whole
complete
time he was
confidence
doing
and
it, he
trust
was
in me,
hiding
and that I have
things in.
signed a letter of agreement, a contract.
Or
The
if
letter
you
of
say
agreement.
a single
The
word
contract.
to anyone about what you have seen, there will be the most dire consequences for you and your family.
In which I have accepted that responsibility. Do you have the slightest idea what a moral and
The
ethical
dire
principle
consequences
is, do you?
are they killed
Has
Stanley
it
and then
ever
they killed
occurred to
his
you what
daughter
would happen
Anya,
to
which
my
is really
future
sad.
if I were to fail to live up to my
But
responsibilities?
he
Dire
flew so high
consequences for you
on gossamer
and your
wings.
family.
So Saturn is the god of time. He is Thoth. He is the Grim Reaper. He has the sickle. So we have 13 Saturn V rockets were used. He's the god of time. He eats all his children. There's a sickle in his hand. Here he is eating his own children.
Hey, Jungle Bunny. Thank God for the sickle cell, huh?
He's changed. He's now known as the Grim Reaper with the sickle. It's the same god. It's just changes faces over time. Here he is with the sickle eating his own children. Here's another picture of him eating his own children. So in Arthur C. Clarke's book, it was the planet Saturn. In Kubrick's movie, it was the planet Jupiter. Jupiter and Saturn are the two protagonists in the Battle of the Titans. Jupiter leads the Battle of the Titans. So there's Sharon Tate on a Hawk missile. You have a Hawk missile model by Revell. You have Kubrick's Hawk Productions. You know, he's using these bird names in his productions. Peregrine Productions, Hawk Productions. You have the Hawk King, you know, Mr. ALS. You have the Hawk in Twin Peaks. You have the HMS Hawk is the warship that ends up ramming the Olympic, which is rebadged and sunk as the Titanic. And there's the Olympic and the Hawk. You have the Hawkeye that was in the Final Countdown. You have the Polaris missile. This one is good. So Polaris is the North Star. So Kubrick does Eyes Wide Shut, and he calls the production company the Pole Star Productions. Here's 2001: A Space Odyssey, and he names it Polaris Productions, a direct match. So Polaris is the North Star. There's the star trails. And it's a missile, and we have a category of tracked vehicles, so an extensive category of tracked vehicles. So Polaris is a single-track snowmobile. This is the Polaris Apollo and the Polaris Mustang. You know, what are the odds? You have Wendy's Polaroid camera with the one small step with the rainbow on it. There's the Polaris missile firing from underwater. So here's the Harpoon missile, and there's Polaris Productions again. That was 2001: A Space Odyssey. Here's the Harpoon missile. Here's the Harpoon missile. Here's the scene from Dr. Strangelove.
We got more holes in us than a horse trader's mule. The radio is gone and we're leaking fuel. If we was flying any lower, why we need sleigh bells on this thing. But we got one little budge on them brewskis. This height, why they might harpoon us, but they dang sure ain't gonna spot us on no radar screen.
So he talks about they might harpoon us. The Harpoon is a missile. So we have the Harpoon, and we're always looking for famous writers. So, you know, Melville and Moby Dick would be obvious. The Harpoon missile, we have the Trident, Neptune's Trident, and the Enchantment Under the Sea Dance. So there's Neptune and his Trident. The Trident is a missile. Neptune is a god of the sea. Neptune is the father of all horses and the father of Pegasus, the mythical flying horse. And of course, Pegasus is one of the time travel program names.
Is that your father's place?
And it's a star system, so it's a mythical horse. It's the Big Dipper. It's Texaco's symbol, you know. So in Battlestar Galactica, they have the Pegasus ship. We have the Rainbow Pegasus pony with the bowler hat on, fan art piece. We have Neptune. Here's a Trident missile right here. So Neptune's Trident is also a missile. Here's Woody Strode with Neptune's Trident. It's a missile. He's the first black professional football player. He's a UCLA high jumper. Here's Hervé Villechaize in the Bond movie with Neptune's Trident. And the tattoo is done with a needle. It's another needle clue.
Stop it!
About to kill Bond, and then they stop him. So Woody Strode is the UCLA high jumper. Jackie Robinson is the UCLA long jumper. Here we have McFly. And they lock him in the phone booth with Neptune's Trident. The hurrier I go, the behinder I get. This is Lewis Carroll. And then we have the Playboy. So we have the Playboy thing just is ridiculous. So both Bruce Willis and Brad Pitt are in Playboy. So there's Anne Margaret, Queen of Vegas. Vegas has changed to Dallas. Dallas has changed to Vegas. Michael J. Fox is a Playgirl bunny. Jack Reed's Playgirl on it's the New Year's edition Playgirl, so it's a holiday clue. 1/1, Danny's birthday. Jack Nicholson has been in Playgirl numerous times. James Brolin, he's in Capricorn 1. He's in Playgirl. Sharon Tate, she's a Playboy bunny. Gloria Hendry from the movie The Bond movie. She's the first black love interest in a Bond movie. And she's a Playboy bunny. She's on the wall of Scatman's bedroom. Don Johnson, he's in The Boy and His Dog. Playboy bunny, Playgirl bunny. Azizi Johari, Playgirl bunny. She's born on the 236th day. It's 237th day on a leap year. 1980, the year that Shining was released, is a leap year. Gloria Hendry, she's a Playboy bunny. We had the Playboy bunnies in the mission logs, the Playboy penguin Looney Tunes character. We have Sylvester Stallone, a Playgirl bunny, Playgirl Jack. Pierce Brosnan, a Playgirl Jack. We have Shelley Winters is in a movie entitled Playgirl. We have, here's another Bruce Willis Playgirl he's in. We have Burt Reynolds is in a Playgirl. You know, he's the Smokey and the Bandit star with the phoenix on the hood. Mick Jagger is a Playgirl bunny, Playgirl Jack. I mean, the first Playboy bunny is Marilyn Monroe. She's in her puzzle. She's the Queen of the Artichoke, first Playboy bunny. We have the Philadelphia Experiment ship is actually a Playboy bunny. We have Dan Aykroyd's a Playboy Jack. We have Nicole Kidman. She's a Playboy bunny with a redhead. You know, she's a 6-foot redhead Playboy bunny. Farrah Fawcett and Lee Majors. Lee Majors is in the puzzle. I'm not going to go into it right now. Sharon Tate, Playboy bunny. We have 8-Ball Bunny is the episode that Playboy Penguin is in. And notice that 8-Ball is one of our characters in Full Metal Jacket. We have the Playboy mission logs on the Apollo 12. We have Azizi Johari on the wall, mirrored with Gloria Hendry, both Playboy bunnies. We have Danny as Doc, a Looney Tunes, and he's wearing the hand-knitted Apollo sweater with the torn thread. We got a one-eyed Jack. We got a one-eyed Jack. We got a one-eyed Jack. You got a one-eyed Jack Rabbit. You got a one-eyed Jack playing card. You got John Ford and Andre DeToth, both one-eyed directors. Jack Elam, Jack Willie Elam. He's one-eyed. Jack Parr, he's a super baby. He teleports through walls. You got the moon as a one-eyed Jack. I'm not going to do all the one-eyed Jacks. I've done these so many times before. But anyway, I just wanted to go through the missiles and all the little things, because right off the bat, we get Atlas Productions. Atlas. So it fits this puzzle just a little too well. I mean, we have this entire list of ICBM nuclear weapons, and we have the Blast from the Past bookstore, and we have the Atomic Kid is playing on the movie theater, and you know, Slim Pickens is riding the bull bomb.
So this week it's just been crazy. You know, I've been battling Microsoft. They turned off 7 of the 8 CPUs on my machine. Then they disabled the microphone. The USB microphone didn't work. Then they screwed up the USB transfer speed, which still has not been resolved. This is the second time they've done this. It was done in April, now it's done in July. And the there was another thing they did. It's just getting ridiculous to keep this machine running. It's gotten, I mean, the microphone, the USB microphone thing, that took me 5 hours to figure out how to resolve that. And basically what happened was Microsoft took all the rights away from the microphone, so it just disables all the microphones during an update. And this particular microphone isn't even plugged in during an update, so I don't even know how you would do that. Anyway, so we're back to 12 Monkeys now. So Cole sees his own death, and he's carrying a very weird pistol, which I will go into later, but it's actually a pistol shotgun. It has 7 bullets and 1 shotgun shell right in the center of it. It's a very bizarre French revolver. So he's having dreams of his other dimension, which is very interesting, because I think that happens to in reality. You can dream of other dimensions.
Jose, what's going on? Bad news, man.
Or things that happen in the future.
Volunteers. Yeah, and they said your name. Hey, maybe they'll give you a pardon, man. Yeah, that's why none of the volunteers come back. Yo, I'll get a pardon. Hey, some come back, I heard. Yeah. Yeah, they got him up on the 7th floor. They hide him up there. They're all messed up in the head. Brains don't work. Hey, you don't know they're all messed up. Nobody's seen them. And maybe they're not messed up. That's a rumor. Nobody knows that. I don't believe that.
This reminds me of the average American, you know, when they're confronted with all the lies. They're just like, oh, you don't know that. You don't know if that's true. It's easier to live in the lie than it is to admit the truth.
These are the instructions for the first-time probe. Listen carefully. They must be followed exactly. All openings of your garment must be sealed completely. If the integrity of the suit is compromised in any way, if the fabric is torn or a zipper not closed, re-admittance will be denied.
So it's interesting, we have Christopher Plummer, you know, you have Farrah Fawcett, Christopher Plummer, Coriolis, the toilets. So we have our first insect, the cockroach. Later on we're going to have the woodsman spider, which is the largest, I think it's the largest spider. I'm going to check that. This is a Grizzly or a Kodiak, I'm not sure. It looks like a Kodiak to me. And that's one of the categories we have are bears. It's just another, you know, freaky thing that's in the movie. And you're like, oh, well, what does the bear mean? What the bear means is it's a way of tying a breadcrumb from Smokey the Bear to Pooh Bear to all the different bears that are in the puzzle. To the bear rug that's in the overlook. It's a way of threading them all together. It's a single thing that goes through all of them. There's the tennis racket. And he's actually in the same mall area that he'll be in at the end of the movie. He'll be in the mall, and it'll be the same mall. There's the next insect, the spider. It's a woodsman spider. He feeds it. And of course, it's Christmas time. So we hear Silent Night at some point here. And the film La Jetée, I am not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. There's another time travel movie. We have the owls, one of the birds right off the bat. Danny has a little owl on his door. The Bohemian Grove owl is my guess. So Terry Gilliam is the director. Terry Gilliam also directs Time Bandits, which is another time travel movie, you know. And if you haven't watched that yet, I suggest you go out and watch Time Bandits, because you're going to find out that Time Bandits has a lot of the categories which you've already identified already in the movie, including Titanic, Robin Hood, and yada yada yada, tennis, Minotaur. So this is a lot like THX 1138, where he lives, you know, just
James Cole,
a horrific
clear from
world.
quarantine.
Thank you. You two wait outside.
He's got a history, Doctor. Violence, antisocial sex.
So we have a clue here. We have these guys that are wrestlers that are in this movie.
Insolence, defiance, disregard of authority, doing 25 to life.
I don't think he's going to hurt us. You aren't going to hurt us, are you?
And I can't think of this guy's name, but he's a wrestler.
No, sir.
So we had David Hertig was a wrestler. Jesse Ventura is a wrestler. Sam Shepard became a professional wrestler. The movie The Fugitive is based on him. And we see Dr. Kimball in 2001: A Space Odyssey.
We appreciate your volunteering. You're a very good observer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We have a very advanced program, something very different.
An opportunity to reduce your sentence considerably.
And possibly play an important role in returning the human race to the surface of the Earth.
We want tough-minded people. Strong mentally. We've had some misfortunes with unstable types.
For a man in your position, an opportunity not to volunteer could be a real...
So there's numerous clues to underground living. You know, we have in Dr. Strangelove, they talk about how, significant living space could easily be provided in some of our deeper mine shafts. And you have the movie Carson City playing in The Shining. It's a movie about tunneling through a mountain. And, you know, these people all live underground. You have the Star Trek episode, The Cage. They live underground because they're waiting for the surface to recover after their last war. I don't know if it was atomic, but whatever kind of war they had.
Tomorrow's silence.
triumph or despair. Drink.
And we have
for
the
you know not whence
Overlook
you
and
came, nor
Underground, and then you
Drink,
have
for you
in
know not why you go, nor where.
in Hunger Games you have Madge Undersea. You know, so Under the Sea Dance and Back to the Future. We're talking about civilizations that are living under the ocean and living underground. And that sounds crazy, but then you start researching it and you find out that we have DUMBs, these deep underground military bases, all over the United States and all over the world. And then we hear about, oh, there's a railway that runs underground from California to New York, from New York to Texas, from Texas to Las Vegas. I mean, this thing goes all over. So, I mean, this is not a fantasy. And then you start looking into nuclear boring rigs, and you find out that NASA is balls deep in nuclear boring. You know, like, what does NASA have to do with nuclear boring rigs? They're supposed to be a space agency.
Yeah, he's in restraints. And the medic gave him enough Stelazine to kill a horse. Look at him. Raring to go.
Well, that would explain the bruises, I
Enough
guess.
to kill a
The
horse.
Yeah. You want to go in there, examine him, what?
Yes, please.
Stelazine, I don't know if that's a real drug. Probably
Is this
is.
all you have? Ran it through your system?
No matchup. No license, no prints, no warrants, nothing. I should probably go in there with you.
No, thank you. That won't be necessary.
All right. He'll be right here, just in case.
So another thing I want to mention is Bruce Willis
Cole?
is in another time travel
My
movie
name is
besides this
Catherine
one.
Rayleigh. I'm a psychiatrist. I work
He's
for the
in,
county. I don't work for the
oh,
police.
is it Jumpers
So my
or- oh,
concern
God, I
is
can't
for your
think of the name of it.
well-being. Do you understand that? I can't.
Plays a
I
bounty
can't make
hunter.
the police let you go.
And he
But
jumps
I
through
do want to
time,
help you. So I
and he
I need
assassinates
you
people.
to tell me exactly what happened tonight. Do you think you can do that,
So
James?
I may cover that movie in the future.
May I call you James?
James. Nobody ever calls me that.
Have you been a patient at county? Have I seen you someplace?
Not possible. I need to go. I need to. I'm supposed to be gathering information.
What kind of information?
Won't help you. Won't help anyone. Won't change anything.
James, do you know why you're
So
here?
in this particular movie,
I'm a good observer.
whatever happens
Tough mind.
in the past, you can't go back and change it.
You don't remember.
You can go back and
assaulting a
research
police
it, but you
officer
can't go
for
back and
several
change
hours.
it.
Why are they chained? Why are they chained on me?
So it conveniently,
You've been in an
conveniently
institution before, haven't you?
avoids causality violations.
Now, need to go. Need to go.
In prison, James?
Underground.
Hiding?
This air. Such wonderful air.
What's wonderful about the air, James?
Very fresh. No germs.
Why do you think there aren't any germs in the air?
This is October, right?
April.
What year is this?
What year do you think it is?
1996.
That's the future, James. Do you think you're living in the future?
1996 is the past.
No, 1996 is the future. This is 1990.
Shut up, ladies.
Where are you taking?
South of France, buddy. Fancy hotel. You'll love
You
it.
can't go to the south of France.
South
I
of
just need to
France,
make
buddy.
a telephone call.
Yeah, zip it, Daisy. You fool the shrink with Jack, but you don't fool us, all right? Come on.
Daisy, calls him Daisy. Little flower. You have dandelion right around all 15. Daisy, Daisy. So we see Bruce Willis in this movie several times in his birthday suit, which is another clue. Whenever we see people in their birthday suits,
Let me see your head,
we need to
Jimbo.
look at their birthdays,
See, you
and I
gotta
have
keep
not
it
looked at his
quiet.
birthday yet.
Make a telephone call.
But it's interesting, Bruce Willis did marry Demi Moore, and Demi Moore is probably the most famous person from Roswell, New Mexico. So I find it interesting that his wife is from was born in Roswell, New Mexico. If anybody knows what cartoon this is, let me know.
Let's go. Come on, let's go.
Because it's seen a couple times. You notice there's Greek key everywhere around this mental hospital. When you're looking at the molding all the way around is all done in what they call Greek key.
Yo, Jeffrey! Jones! What?
So we have Brad Peachpit.
See, it's James.
Brad Nail
Hey, do me a
Peachpit.
favor.
And
Just show him around. Tell him
of
TV
course
rules.
he's a,
show him the games
you know,
and
he's a
stuff, okay?
playgirl
How much you gonna
Jack.
pay me? How much? I'd be doing your job.
$5,000, my man. That enough?
5,000?
I'll wire a check to your account as usual.
$5,000. $5,000.
$5,000.
I'll give him the deluxe mental hospital tool.
My man.
Kid around, and make them feel good.
Yeah,
Work
I
out.
love you.
You're the prisoners. No, you're the
no.
guards.
Now you got it. Now you got it.
Right. Okay. It's all in good fun. All in good fun. Here's some games here, and there's. Get out!
So he goes right into the games, and we see a jigsaw puzzle. So this is.
He's in my chair.
This is, you know, the buzzsaw, the jigsaw, the seesaw,
Games I want
the
to get out.
bandsaw, the table saw,
More games.
the diamond saw, all the different saws in the puzzle that we found already. And here we see a chessboard. Of course, we're using chess,
I guess they give you some cool strings, huh?
we're using knights and
What did they give you?
sirs,
Haldol? How much?
pawns,
Know your dose. It's elementary.
king of the castle.
Telephone call. That's communication with the outside world. Doctor's discretion.
And I think Stephen King uses Castle
All of
Rock.
these nuts
Doesn't
could
he use
just make phone
Castle
calls
Rock?
that could spread insanity oozing.
In his
These
books a
telephone
lot.
cables oozing to the ears of all these poor, sane people, infecting them. Wackos everywhere, plague of madness.
Come on, let's go.
In fact, very few, Jim, very few of us here are actually mentally ill.
So throughout the
You're not
movie, you'll
mentally
hear
ill. For all
references
I
to
know,
your
you're
crazy
crazy
flock
as a
of
loon.
lunacy.
that's
And
why we're here.
at the end of this, I'm going to edit all of them together to see the continuity between all, you know, all the descriptions of your crazy or
There's
loony or
television.
freaky or nutty.
It's all right there. All right there. Look, listen, Neil, pray. Commercials.
Once again, if somebody knows what cartoon this is, let
anymore,
me
it's all
know.
automated. What are we for then? We're consumers. Okay, buy a lot of stuff. You're a good citizen. But if you don't buy a lot of stuff, if you don't, what are you then, I ask you? What? Mentally ill. Back, Jim, back. If you don't buy things, toilet paper, new cars,
Mentally
computerized
ill.
blenders, electrically operated sexual devices, stereo systems with brain-implanted headphones, screwdrivers, miniature built-in radar devices, voice-activated computers.
Voice-activated computers.
Open the pod bay doors, please, Hal.
So this is a threat already. We already have all these voice-activated computers.
Voice-activated
Talking
computers.
and singing computers.
Dave, my mind is going. I can feel it. I can feel it.
So
My mind
Hal
is going.
is the first, you know, the IBM computer,
There is no
the
question about
3700 was the first computer to sing a song, and it sang Daisy Daisy.
I can feel it.
So it's a talking, singing
I can feel
computer.
I can feel it.
And Dave realizes that Hal went crazy,
Afraid.
and he has to shut him down because he's insane.
Good afternoon,
He
gentlemen.
had already killed the
I am
entire
Hal.
crew by this point.
9,000
So
computers.
here's a list of
I became
all the computers
operational
that we've been finding
at the
in these
HAL
different
plant in
threads.
Urbana, Illinois, on the 12th of January, 1992. My instructor was Mr. Langley, and he taught me to sing a song.
So we're talking about IBM,
If you'd like to
you
hear
know,
it,
and
I can sing it for you. Yes, let me hear it. Sing it for me. It's called
the psychopathic IBM computer.
Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer, do. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage. I can't afford.
So it involves a marriage. Once again, another marriage, including diamond crater, ring crater. And it's got the bicycle.
Voice-activated computers.
So let's go to the thing. We have the chess wizard. Of course, wizards are magical. Jim, beam me up, Scotty. There's no intelligent life here.
Poor baby, you're starting to lose it, aren't you?
Playing computer chess, and it's Adrienne Barbeau's voice. Voices the computer in this movie. She was married to John Carpenter at this point.
My move. Rook to knight 6. Checkmate. Checkmate.
So John Carpenter is not a chess expert, so he is not going to be putting complex chess clues in his movie, but that was pretty good. The Rainbow from Digital. And then later in the movie, we have the talking alarm clock. So it's a talking computer. Tells you what time it is. Just like you have Stopwatch the horse, you know? It's a horse, but it's named Stopwatch. Or the atomic clock. Or the grandfather clock, or the cuckoo clock, or the Longines chronoscope. Or you have Majel Barrett. She's the talking computer in Star Trek. And she's Gene Roddenberry's wife. Number 1.
Take it easy, Jeffrey. Be calm.
Right. That's right. You're a very attractive woman. Ah. So, if you want to watch a particular television program, say, like All My Children or something, you go to the charge nurse and tell her.
So I think this is a good point to stop this right now. We're just starting to get into the movie, and it's at 50 minutes already, and it's getting too long. But I think we've established from the get-go that, you know, we have the Atlas Productions link, and we have these threads that go through the whole thing. You know, here's the Mickey Mouse thread that runs right through the moon missions and Full Metal Jacket and The Shining and the Apollo 11 splashdown, you know, mimics the Mickey Mouse face. You know, you've got Pluto, another Disney thing. We got Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs on Danny's door. You know, Mickey's dog is Pluto. And it's Tomorrowland, another land. And it's the wonderful world of Disney. You have the Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse
And the medic gave him
figurines.
enough stelazine to kill a horse. Look at him. Rare
They
and
have
go.
this isn't done yet. This is all the crazy thread.
Was a fruitcake.
You are total nutcase, completely deranged, delusional,
Nutcase.
paranoid. Your process is
Fruitcake.
all fucked up.
Lunatic.
This man
Bananas.
is complete bullshit.
Mentally
Bananas
ill.
complete bad
Thank you,
shit.
Einstein. Now he was nuts. He was a fruitcake. Nah.
Fruitcake.
Hey, all of these nuts could just make phone calls. It could spread. Insanity oozing through telephone cables, oozing to the ears of all these poor, sane people, infecting them. Wackos everywhere, plague of madness.
Come on.
Very few of us here are actually mentally ill. I'm not saying you're not mentally ill. For all I know, you're crazy as a loon. What is this guy? Crazy?
So part 2 is almost done. It's just too long. I've got to cut it down more. And Anthony Toscano was asking, you know, when's the next video coming? Come on, let's go. And I understand it, but you know, I just want to say one thing. It takes a lot of work to do these videos. And when I was off all the time, you know, I had 6-7 hours a day to do it. Now it's much less time. And the Microsoft problems are just, I have a new problem now with the screen capture thing. If you watch this video, there are certain screen captures that when they play back, they're all wavy and distorted. And that's a brand new thing from the last update. So Microsoft is really screwing me. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And part 2, and I think it's going to be part 2 and part 3, we'll tie it all together. I know it was like all over the place in this video, but by the time you get through the next 2 videos, you'll understand it. And basically the bottom line is we're linking all these time travel movies together with these bizarre threads. And they repeat over and over and over and over. You know, like the Ronald Reagan thread. You know, you have Ronald Reagan is in the Philadelphia Experiment on TV. Ronald Reagan is an aircraft carrier. It's an airport. Ronald Reagan is in Back to the Future 1 and Back to the Future 2. So, you know, it's these little things they're including in each movie that repeat. And that's it, guys. And I'm sorry it takes me so long now to do videos, but I have so much less time. And the hardware and the software is just fighting me every time I turn around. So that's it. Have a great night, guys. Peace and love.
Oh, look, you dog. Oh, it's no water for an old man any longer. What talk about water is it at all? Men on the moon and men spinning around the earth, and there's not no attention paid to earthly law nor no more. Oh, dear land, I fall.